One of the main problems we face when web scraping is the fact that we get blocked from the website. We are trying to scrape for too many requests. That's because we have one IP address from our main computer and it sees too many requests from that IP address and it will temporarily stop you accessing the website. So one way around that is to spread out the requests over multiple IP addresses, and this is basically what rotating through proxies is. In this video, I'm going to show you how that works in principle, and I'm going to explain a few upsides and downsides, and stick around because I want to talk a lot about free proxies and why they are not actually any use to us at all. So hi everyone, welcome, my name's John, and let's get right into it. So the crux of it is that when we send a request to the server through requests in Python, we want to be able to send that through a proxy. Now the easiest way to do that is to import requests, and let's set up our r is equal to requests.get, and I'm going to use a website called http bin, and it has an IP part that will let you it will send you the JSON response back, and it will tell you what IP you connected with and whether it was good or not. So we can do httpbin.org and it's /IP. So if I was to run this and print out our .status code, we can see that we're going to get a 200 response down here. So that means we connected fine. I'm not going to show you the JSON response because that's my IP. So if we wanted to use a proxy, we need to go and get one. So if you Googled free proxy list, you might come up with this. And if I refresh this page and we find one that says HTTPS says yes, so let's copy that, and the port is 3128. Let's go ahead and do proxy is equal to 3128. After our URL, we can do proxies is equal to, let's create a dictionary, and we'll say HTTP and then proxy, and we'll also say HTTPS. There we go, like that, and proxy as well. So I'm going to add another thing here. I'm going to say timeout because a lot of these fail, so I'm going to do a timeout of 3 seconds, and let's run that and see if this one worked. Okay, we got connection refused, which means to me that does not work. So let's try a different one. HTTPS. Let's try this one. Oh, we did that one. Oh, that's this one. 8080. Okay. Yes, this one worked. Right. So let's do print r.json. The response, the JSON response from the website, and clear that up, and let's run it again, and we can see that our response is this. The origin that we've come from is 164.100.130.128, which is this proxy that we specified here. So basically that's it. The downside with free proxies is the fact that they are free and they are widely known and open, and Google blocks them all. So you cannot access any sites with this proxy. So this we just saw this one worked. So if I change this to https google.co.uk and try to run it again, we're going to get the same connection refused error that we got before. In fact, we got a JSON error because we tried to print out something that doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that into a try and accept, and we'll show you a few more examples. And we'll just print failed, and we'll pass. And we'll put our JSON response in here. So if it does work, we get that instead. Okay, so let's try it again. And we'll get, after our timeout time, which was about 3 seconds, failed. Okay, so I'll change this back to the HTTP bin, sorry, /IP, and we'll run it again. Maybe this one still works. Yeah, it does. Great. So this is all very well, but what if we had a long list of proxies that we know work with Google, and we know work with what we're trying to achieve, so the sites that we're trying to scrape. The quickest and easiest way to go through that if you had them in a CSV file would be to import them in as a CSV. So I'm going to show you how I would do that now. I've got a long list of proxies, about 400 or 500, saved as a CSV file on my computer, which I downloaded from various free proxy sites. There are 458. So what I'll do is we'll write a script that loops through all of these and checks them all to see if they work. Right, I'm going to get rid of all of this for now. We'll keep that, and we'll do import CSV, and then we can let's create a blank list to add all of our proxies to. And we want to open our CSV file, so we use a context manager with open, which keeps it open for us and closes it for us when we don't need it. And mine is proxylist.csv, and I'm going to open that read only, because that's all we need. And I'm going to do as f, so we're opening the file as f, and reader then is equal to csv underscore reader of the file, which is f we called. And then for row in reader, append this to our proxy list. Append, and because it's multiple rows, we want to make sure we do just the first one. So we're going to index it and say only this row. So if after this, to check this is working, if I print the length of proxy list, hopefully if that's all good, it should be CSV reader is not defined. That's because that should be a dot. Sorry about that. There we go, 458, which is what I said it was. So now let's go ahead and write a new function to loop through every proxy. I'll close this, collapse that, sorry. To rotate through every proxy on our, now in our big long proxy list. So I'm going to call this one extract, and we're going to pass in the proxy that we want. And then I'm going to do pretty much what we had before. We're going to do try, because we want to make sure that we don't fall over when one of them fails. I'm going to do r is equal to requests.get, and it was, I'll just type the URL manually again. Like this, and proxies is equal to proxy. So this matches here, so this is what will get passed in. Except what we need to do is we need to do the HTTP, and we'll do HTTPS, just so it works like that. Close our dictionary, and timeout, I'm going to lower this to 2 because there's quite a lot to get through and most of them are going to fail, I think. Okay, so if that works, we want to print our r.json, so the response from the website which we get, and then after that I'm just going to say working, just like that. We'll add a little dash in there so we can see that's all good. And now what we want to do is we want to deal with it if it fails, and we'll just do print. Actually what we'll do is we'll just pass it if it fails, because otherwise we're going to get a lot of text on our on our console screen and it's going to be quite confusing. We won't see which ones work and which don't. So after this we want to return, and we'll just return proxy for now. Okay, let's test our function. We can use the same proxy that worked before, this one, which was 80. So now we'll just run extract, and we'll give it this. So this then becomes our proxy variable, and we'll see what we get out. Working, fantastic. So we know our function works. So basically what we're doing is we're giving it a proxy, and we're trying the request, which I just showed you with that proxy. And if it works, it prints it to the console. If it doesn't, it just skips over and goes to the next one. So if you watched one of my last videos, I talked a little bit about concurrent futures and how we can use that to speed through a long list of requests or items, or in that case, I used URLs that we could potentially scrape and got one piece of data from each one. And now this is another great example we could use it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and import concurrent futures, and we're going to run through this super quick and check if any of these proxies work. If you're not quite sure what this is, just follow along now, and I will have a link somewhere to the actual video I did recently which explains it in a bit more detail. So with concurrent, let's spell this right, dot futures dot thread executor as executor. This is just lining it all up, and we will do executor dot map, and we want to then give it our function extract and then our proxy list. So when I run this, it's going to do it all sort of simultaneously, and we should hopefully get some responses back that some of the proxies in my CSV file work. And it doesn't appear that any of them do. We can see them slowly coming through. So far there are 4 that actually work. And of course this is as in just work and not work with Google, which these ones won't. Okay, so that's finished. So we went through 458 free proxies, of which I downloaded and saved into a CSV, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them actually work, as in you can use them. However, remember that none of these will work with Google, so they're kind of pointless, but this is not really the outcome, not really the point of the exercise that I wanted to show you. It was more that if you had a list of proxies that you know worked, you could use this method and you could use your request and pass in your proxy just like this to spread out your requests and hopefully not get blocked from the website wherever you're trying to scrape. So all of the code that I've written out today will be in my GitHub. I'll put the links down below to that. I also have another version where we web scrape this free proxy list and pull out the information from there. So that might be a slightly more up-to-date free proxy list. So maybe a few of them more will work. So give it a go, follow along and see what your outcome is. And again, if you have a list of good proxies, you could use this to scrape websites properly and quickly without getting blocked. So hopefully you guys have found this one interesting. It's quite useful. It's good to know how to do it. I'm going to do a follow-up video to this where I'm going to try and find some proxies that actually do work with Google and do that in a proper exercise. So thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Lots of web scraping content on my channel already, more to come, more Python stuff to come, main videos on Sundays, and some more live streams are going to come up next week as well, guys. So make sure you keep your eye open for those and come and join in. We'll have a chat. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.